Hey YouTube, it's sneezingGUITAR, aka Tyler, and I'm bringing you another mod today. This mod is called Clay Soldiers mod. It's one of my favorite mods, but I don't think it's ever really thoroughly been reviewed. And that's what I'm going to do here today. I'm going to show you everything you can make, what it's about, and everything you can do with the mod. Now, just a little insight, Clay Soldiers is basically you can create little soldiers and they'll fight for you. Well, not for you, but against each other, with different colored teams and different perks that you can give them, such as sticks as swords and bowls as shields. But it's mostly just for fun. All you do in this mod is you pin them against each other and see what wins and what doesn't win. Now, I'm going to get started with showing you how to make the basic things, and then I'll show you what things you can give them to have a little more fun with them. Different characteristics. Okay, now first off we have a normal clay soldier. What you take is clay and soul sand, and it's just soul sand on top of clay, and that gives you 4 clay soldiers. Now what these guys look like is, what these guys look like is just little men that walk around fighting for you. But he's just walking around right now because he doesn't have another team against him. Now if I put down another guy, well, let me pick those up. If I put down another guy, he won't fight him because he's still clean and he's the same basic, oh, he took something from the chest. Ignore that. They can open chests, they can open furnaces, they can open up any container, so you gotta kind of keep them under control. But they won't fight each other unless they're on opposite teams or you give them a reason not to fight, like making them a farmer, but I'll get into that later. And also, when you're dropping them down, make sure you only have 1 in the stack, because the number of guys you have in a stack, that's how many you're going to throw down. Like that, I just threw down all 3 of them. And if you have like a stack of 16 of them, then that can get really out of hand unless you have a clay distributor, which I'll mention later. Alright, next you got how to color these guys. Now, the colors of this clay soldiers, they just go with all the dyes. You can make any color of soldier that you have dye. And I'll show you how to make these with just magenta and then lime dye. So, with the lime, you got a lime soldier. And magenta, you get a magenta soldier, and they just look the exact same, only colored. And now see, they're fighting because they're different colors. And right now it's really boring because they don't have weapons or perks or an arena to fight in. But you can make it really elaborate, and eventually it'll become really fun. Just bear with me. But you guess, as you can see, you got all the different colors. Okay, now right here is a different color of soldier, but it's kind of textured. And I don't know why they put this in, but it's kind of cool, in my opinion, is when you take a melon and surround it by clay soldiers, and you get a melon textured clay soldier, or 4 of them. So there are your melon textured clay soldiers. They're no special perks, just a different type of look. And pumpkin looks the exact same, only with a pumpkin texture. Alright, next is cleaning the clay soldiers. All you need for that is a bucket of water and the clay soldier that you have. I don't know why you'd want to clean them, but if you just want to change the team color, you can do that too. You can do it 1 water bucket with a with the colored soldier, or you can do 9 or 8 colored soldiers and 1 water bucket. It'll still do the same. Now, 1 second, let me clear my inventory, and I'll show you this, how you can do this in the crafting table. So you just put the water bucket in the middle, and even if I'm putting 1 in, you can already see it cleans them. But you can put in all 8 and it'll give you 8 clean clay soldiers, and it'll empty the water bucket. So I don't know why you'd want to just, like, say you have 1 green one and then you have your water bucket, and you only get 1 clean soldier, and it'll still empty a water bucket, which is kind of a waste, so you'd probably want to go with the more efficient method of cleaning all 8 of them. Okay, and now moving on to horses. Horses are things that your guys can ride to fight in battle, And these are the different types of horses that you can make, like all different types, like colored wise. There's dirt horses, you got gravel, lapis horses, snow horses, grass, and sand horses. And then, of course, the normal clay horse, which is just 4 clay, kind of like in the pattern of the legs, and then soul sand as the body. And you get 2 clay horses, and that lets your guys ride on the horses. So it doesn't matter, the colors of the soldier doesn't have to matter to the color of the horse. It doesn't matter at all. And see, he'll just hopefully hop right on them, and then he's got a horse to ride. And I don't know if it increases speed, damage, but I think it's just a better way to get around and to look superior over his teammates. And that's about it for horses. Now let's move on to the clay distributor like I was talking about before. The clay distributor is basically the thing that you use to get rid of and control all of your little clay soldiers. And it's 2 clay lumps, not clay blocks, on each side. Redstone on the top, stick at the bottom, or flip that, sorry. And you get a clay distributor. And what the clay distributor does is when you have, like, say, a bunch of them out and you don't want to just go around hitting each individual one of them, you can just use this, right click, and it'll just kill them all. So let me get a bunch of them right here. So there we go, we got 16 of them. And 1 click and they're all gone. It does have a span of how far it can reach. I don't know that actual span, but it's pretty far. I mean, it shouldn't take you a lot. It does run out though. You can see it has a little health bar right there at the bottom. So you need to use it wisely unless you just have a plentiful of clay, sticks, and redstone, which you probably do. And now this is clay cookies is the next thing, which have really no purpose at all. It's just a little extra thing for the winners. And you get 16 from a clay lump and sugar, which is pretty cool. And so you just give him a clay cookie and he'll eat it. They really like them. I don't know, they'll just eat as many as they can. It doesn't affect them at all. It doesn't give them super speed or anything. It's just a little reward for them. Well, let's use the clay distributor. There we go. Okay, now those are the basics. Moving on to little extra things that they've added in recently, other than clay cookies, that was pretty recent, is Pegasi. And Pegasi is the exact same thing as a horse, only with a feather on the top of it. So, let's see what it looks like. See, it just puts wings on them. Now, Pegasuses, or Pegasi, they can now fly around, getting from place to place, which they have an advantage over their opponents because their opponents can't reach them because they're too high up. They don't really fly extremely high, but they do get around pretty well, pretty easily, which is really fun to mess around with on certain teams. Just give them an extra oomph. If you want to have like a sky battle from place to place with different platforms, Pegasi would be the way to go. And also, they have turtles. And turtles are stone, netherrack, endstone, melon, sandstone, or cobblestone over soul sand. 2 soul sand. It's kind of confusing, but we're going to use moss stone for this demonstration of the turtle. And the turtle, pretty cool. They not any faster, not any slower than the horse or the Pegasus, except for it can't fly. The Pegasus is the only thing that can fly. That's a ride, and they just go around riding them. They're a little bit lower to the ground. I don't know if that affects how they can be attacked, but it's just a little extra thing for those little for the people who like turtles more than horses. Personally, I like turtles more than horses, but that's just me. Okay. Now, moving on to the things where you can customize them with. Now, there's a lot of customizations that you can do, and I'm only going through the ones that really I thought were important, and the ones I've marked those with red roses. Now, sticks are weapons, like I said before. You give him a stick, and there you go. He's got a little weapon, a sword, and Wait, don't open the chest. Ah, he did it. Okay. Well, and that gives them an advantage over their opponents, which they do run out. They do have a health, the weapons, but they honestly in a battle they won't really break a lot. It's not something that you have to worry about when you're giving them something. It's just something. It's just something that if they're using it a lot and they're super good. Like if you have a super soldier with one stick and he's just owning everybody, that stick may break. Next thing we have is wool and leather. They're both things that you can give a clay soldier as they use as for armor. See, they just get like a little shirt, and then wool, they get a little undershirt with the wool. It's just extra armor and padding for your soldiers to have advantages over your soldiers' opponents. Food stores health for later. If they get hurt, they can eat the food that they grabbed from you. Like, it doesn't matter what food, steak I've got in there, but I'm not going to demonstrate that. Now, a gold nugget is something that you can throw to one of your soldiers to say that he is the leader of them. See, he gets a little crown, and they follow him as leader. He's got more superiority over them, so they'll, I guess, follow him into battle. Usually you want to put him on a horse or keep him safer, because if he dies they'll be a little bit more confused, but then they can also, the next guy, if the king dies, just picks up the gold nugget and becomes the next king. And next we have, well, glowstone dust makes them glow in the dark, so if you wanted to have a dark battle in an arena, you just give them all glowstone and then you could see them. Gunpowder. Gunpowder is an interesting thing. It's kind of like martyrdom from Call of Duty. You give them that, they get these little grenades or whatever, gunpowder all over their body, and then if you throw another guy at them, or a bunch of guys, and they fight him, when he dies, he explodes, and oh, he did quite a bit of damage there. He destroyed 15 guys, so it's pretty nice perk to have. It's just that I don't like using it because when I build a stadium, I don't usually like it being destroyed by martyrdom, and then that affects with like redstone wiring of releasing them with pistons, and it's just a big mess. So I usually try to avoid martyrdom, but it is a cool feature that they had in this. Okay, now moving on to the next one, we've got sugar, and sugar increases speed in your guys. It just increases their speed, so they can run around and fight more and get away from battles. God, oh, he's opening chests. They're really annoying, so you gotta keep them under control. Alright, so next was supposed to be clay lump, but all you have to do is you have to give them a clay lump, and that'll revive their teammates after they've died. So a teammate that looks like this, while the others are out battling, they'll just come along when they're not busy battling and revive them. And next we have redstone dust, and redstone dust is blind powder, and you give it to I'll give it to the blue guy because I think he's better. I like the blues. And see, he's holding the redstone right in there. And if you have a green guy out, oh, see, he blinded him. Now green can't see, and blue can just go ahead and attack him with ease. It's kind of an unfair advantage, but you don't want to use a lot of it because then it'll make your battles a little bit unfair for if you put redstone all on the other team and nothing on the other team. That'll be pretty unfair. Now the next thing we have is slime balls. And slime balls are glue traps. They're kind of like redstone, only they stick them to the ground. See, he's stuck, but he can still fight the blue guy, but he can't move around. So if there's a lot of blue guys around one of him, oh wow, the blue guy lost. He sucks. But it's an advantage if it's more than one of them against like one super soldier or something. Then that's where slime balls would probably come in most handy. Now, iron ingots. Iron ingots give you super soldiers. Now, he doesn't look like it, but he's a lot stronger than just an average soldier. See, he hits them way farther. He's got more strength. I think he's got more speed. And he's got a bigger oh, wow. I thought he would beat him. But I guess he's not good enough. See, and then they can pick up each other's perks and use them against each other. But it just gives them a little bit more oomph against their opponents. And it can be unfair if too many of them have iron ingots. But it's a cool little thing. Next, we have gravel. And with gravel, it's basically like a throwing rock, or a throwing knife, if you would. And it's basically just a long-range weapon instead of a short-range weapon. So they don't have to get up in the battle. So you can have archers on the sides fighting. And they have an advantage if it's just one-on-one, apparently. But yeah, that's a good little thing to do. It doesn't matter how many things you give them. It just matters that you give them one, then they go out. I think they have unlimited gravel. Okay, next thing is for people who wanted to have these clay soldiers as like villagers and like NPCs, extra NPCs, logs. If you give a clay soldier at least a stack of 5 logs, then he will build a house. So I'm going to put him down here. I'm going to give him, wait, actually you have to throw out the whole stack. So I'm going to throw him that stack. He's going to pick it up. It might take him a while. You have to give him a little bit of space. But eventually, he should build a house. I have no idea what he's doing. He's just walking around looking for a place to build. I don't know if he can build with all the grass in the way. Come on, buddy. Build a house. Build a house. You're just hiding in the grass. You're not building a house. Alright, well, we'll come back to him later. Maybe he'll build a house in the meantime. But next thing we got is a fishing rod. Now, with the fishing rod, you can lure all of your soldiers. Nope, he's not done with the house yet. Lure all your soldiers to follow you. So you just throw the fishing rod out, and they follow to the lure. They just jump around it until you reel it back in. It's very nice for controlling them so they don't get out of hand. It's something you want to have in handy if you're working with the Clay Soldiers mod, is probably a distributor and a fishing pole. Okay, actually I don't have a distributor, so let's see if I can quickly get one of these so I can get rid of all of them. Alright, there we go. Next up we have, what do we have? We have feathers. Now, oh, look, he did it. I think he killed himself out of exhaustion, but yep, he built himself a little house out of wood. Now you have to make sure you give him 5 logs or more. I think the limit is 20 logs. But I don't know if it's the more logs, the more elaborate the house is. I don't think that's the case, or more houses they can build. But if you don't give him 5, if you only give him 4, he won't do anything with it. He won't even pick it up. So you have to give him 5 to 20 for him to build a house. Okay, now where were we? Yes, feathers. We were with feathers. Okay. Now with feathers is you give a soldier, well, a feather, and he can use it as a parachute. See, I've built a little ditch down here, and we're going to give him this feather and try to push him off, and there he goes. He's using it as a parachute, and he gently falls to the ground, not even harmed. Alright, now the next thing was going to be goggles, and goggles increases their sight by 5 blocks. I think they can only see 1 block or 2 blocks ahead of them, so they can't like attack each other. But if you use the goggles, then I'm going to show you anyways because it looks cool. It's a little bit, and then they get little glasses on their faces, and 1 block of glass will give goggles to the whole team. Honestly, I don't see the point in goggles, but it's just for some people who want to use goggles. Actually, I'm going to keep the fishing pole. Alright, now another thing before we go down into this little extra place, because I didn't have enough room for all the things, is when you have a clay soldier and you right click on him, you go into clay soldier view. So if you want to go into clay soldier view during a battle, and you can watch him fight other clay soldiers until he dies. And the way to get out of clay soldier view is by just left shift, and then you're out of it. And it's kind of fun to watch him see your own body when you're in clay soldier view. Alright, oh, great. Let's get off of creative so I don't destroy anything else important.